I'm going to give you a scenario, and if the scenario that I give you today resonates with you, then it's imperative that you watch this video in full. Because when I started my first agency, if I knew this, I would have been able to climb the ranks of success much faster. So the scenario is this. The whole prospect of SMMA and starting a business is really exciting to you because it helps you achieve a dream, but you're also quite scared and you're quite nervous. One of the main things that intimidates you is doing sales calls and also delivering results. You feel slightly incompetent. You're not exactly sure how to get clients results, but at the same time you've got a myriad of obstacles that you have to overcome that you're creating in your head as to your perception of things like sales and results. If that's you, then you need to watch this video. So my name's Charlie Morgan and I've built and scaled 2 businesses. I've scaled a marketing agency in the past to 7 figures. It's called Northflow Consulting. You can go and check it out if you want. And I currently run Imperium Acquisition, which is a multi-7-figure coaching company. Now I make these YouTube videos to do 2 things. First of all, to document my journey to 8 figures and explain what I've learned. But more importantly, I want to help people make client acquisition easy. Client acquisition is hard for a lot of people. A lot of people do deserve it to be easy. These videos serve that purpose. So you're a starting agency owner, you're not quite sure what you're doing. Maybe you've got a client, maybe you're still yet to get that sort of first client. But here's the thing. So you're probably quite afraid of sales calls and you're probably quite nervous about them because fundamentally you're new to sales, you're new to the space, and you're asking yourself the big question, why on earth would any rational business owner trust me with their business? And that's a perfectly reasonable question to be asking yourself, and it's not one that you should have to worry about asking because it's normal. But I'm going to explain a objection handling technique, if you like, that you can use in your sales calls. So when you run into a business owner on a sales call and they say to you, listen, like, why would I work with you when I could go and work with an established agency that has loads of results and guarantees and social proof? Why should I work with you over them? And if you can't answer that question, not only for them, but more importantly to yourself, then you're always going to lose the sale. So a lot of the time, business owners might not even ask you that question. But if you're constantly asking that of yourself, then your conviction on your sales calls will drastically decrease, and obviously your conviction decreases, sales decrease. So what's the solution? How I handled this when I started my first agency is I made a deal with myself. I sort of shook my own hand, so to speak. And I basically told myself, look, Charlie, if you sign a client, you will go to the ends of the earth. You will go to hell and back to make sure they get results. And I truly meant that with myself. I sat down and I had this conversation. I don't think I actually talked to myself in the mirror. I'm not in a Hollywood film exactly, but I really thought about it and I was like, look, if a business owner gives you an opportunity to prove yourself and, you know, potentially pay you, then you need to do everything you can to make sure they're happy. Now, here's the thing about sales calls, and you'll learn this as you do more. The only way to really close sales is to have conviction. And when you're starting out, it's very hard to muster up a significant amount of conviction in your ability to deliver results because fundamentally you're new to the game, you're inexperienced, you haven't got a huge amount of experience or results, so therefore you don't trust yourself to do the work to deliver, and that's perfectly natural. But the conviction has to come from somewhere, because if you go on every sales call and you're frightened and scared and you don't believe in your abilities, then fundamentally how do you think that's going to pass over to the business owner? You have to understand that emotions are contagious, especially in a sales scenario. So if you hop onto the call and you're anxious and terrified, the business owner will pick up on that even on an unconscious level. That's how these things work. So you have to find your conviction in another place. I'm going to give you a scenario. I'm on a sales call with a business owner. I'm a new SMMA owner, right? Whatever. The business owner says as an objection, Charlie, I like you, picture's okay, but I can see you're pretty new to this. Why should I work with you when like, I'm just not sure you're going to deliver the results? You don't sound 100% certain. You know what you're doing. There's other agencies with more experience. Why should I work with you? I'd say, look, John, I want you to pay attention here because I completely understand your concerns, and I couldn't even tell you how deeply I understand those because I get it. Like, I completely get it. Here's the thing, and here's the advantage of working with me, and here's why you're going to want to work with me, because I truly believe this to be true. If you give me this opportunity, I will work until I die, quite literally, to get this to work. If I have to stay up till 4 in the morning, if I have to go days without food because I have to focus on the work, I will do everything within my power and capability to get you results. You can go and work with an established agency with a bunch of clients, but I can tell you something about those established agencies. They get quite fat, they get quite lazy. For me, your business is my business. You're going to be one of my first clients. And what that means is that if your business is not successful under my business, I fail. So you are my lifeline. You are my blood supply. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for me. If I can't get your results, my entire business is going to go into the ground. And so I will go to the fucking end of hell and back to get this to work because it has to work for me. And I'm aligning our expectations. I'm aligning our incentives so deeply, and I'm so deeply entrenched and interested in your success that I will do anything to get this to work. And I bloody mean that. And I know that, you know, you need to have the confidence to buy from me. And I know it's hard because I haven't got that track record, but I'm telling you, as someone who's young and has 24 hours a day to commit to this business, all of that time is going to go into your business. And I will not stop until you get results. And I bloody solemnly promise you on God, that is where your conviction needs to come from. You need to be able to deliver this like passionate, almost speech, you know, speech like fucking rebuttal to an objection like that, because you have to develop the confidence and conviction. So if you haven't got confidence in your current ability to deliver, you must have confidence in your work ethic to go and find what works should you sign a client. And so if you truly believe that about yourself and you really speak from the gut and you say, John, I will change your business. I know that it doesn't look great, that I haven't got a huge amount of results, but that's good for you because I am so hungry to succeed. This business is my baby. It's my life, it's my blood, it's all I do, it's all I think about. You're one of my first clients. And that means if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for me. Basically, if I don't help you succeed, I literally fail. So I cannot let failure happen. We will make this work. When you come at someone with that much conviction, they lose all interest in your past. And you know, they attach themselves. Remember what I said earlier, emotions are contagious. And so if you give someone, it's like a virus. If you give someone a confidence virus, it's very hard to shake off. We haven't got an immune system to battle emotions, right? Typically. That is what I propose you do if you find yourself in this situation. Alternatively, if you're struggling on your sales calls because you're a beginner and you haven't got that confidence, you need to shake your own hand and make a deal with yourself that in the event that someone does put some trust in you, you do not take that for fucking granted and you go to an unbelievable length to fulfill promises that you made to them. Because I knew when I signed my first client that I would do anything it takes to make sure they were happy and got results. Like that was, and that's been a theme throughout all of my businesses, even today with what our products are and what we work on them and coaching. Like I won't sleep until clients are getting results. And that happened with my first client. I signed one on for £1,000 a month. This was a couple, well, fair few years ago, like 6 years ago now. I signed on a guy called Ian, who lived in a city called Hartlepool in England. And I said to him, like, Ian, you will not regret this. I promise. And I must have sounded like a fucking madman on the phone. But he was like, all right, I'll give you a shot. And I remember very explicitly, like I had a 9 to 5. So I didn't tell my work about my first client because they wouldn't have been very happy because they were a digital marketing agency, right? And I remember I would get up at like 6 in the morning. I would work on this, you know, client's campaign from 6 till like 8, drive to work. My whole lunch break, I'd be eating food whilst doing ad copy and thinking about stuff for this client. And like my entire life, because I didn't know what I was doing for like 1 to 2 weeks, was all about that client. I stopped doing everything else. But I stopped going to the gym. I stopped meditating. All of my free time was optimized to think about how to deliver for this client. And I knew that that was going to be the case. And that's why I had so much confidence with the sales calls. This is something that I've talked to some of my clients about recently for Imperium Acquisition. We help agency owners, coaches, consultants acquire clients. Don't worry, I'm not here to plug anything. I'll do that later on. You can stick around for it if you want. But I was talking to some guys on one of our group coaching calls. And I had this question, and the guy was like, how do I create this conviction and confidence to convert people if I fundamentally do not know how to deliver results yet? And I said, well, you have to trust your character, not your ability. You can produce any ability with the right character, but you can't produce a character with the right ability. That's sort of how you have to do it. You don't really have any other options, in all honesty. And so that was the philosophy that I had. This was also the philosophy that I had for Imperium. So I'll tell you a quick story here. So we've now got about 520 clients on board since we started 2 years ago. We've done about 520 high ticket coaching clients for our program. When we first started Imperium, which was 2 years ago now, we didn't have a program. We didn't have any products, right? We wanted to test the market. So we started booking sales calls, and I would take sales calls with agency owners. We had no product. So there was nothing to sell. Right? I was selling a future version of this product based on the premise that we would build the product if we got like 5 to 10 people to buy it before it had even been built, because we wanted to establish that the model we were exploring was actually interested by a mutual market, if that makes sense. So what that basically means is like I wanted to make sure that we had proof of concept before we launched. So I think I did like 30, 40 sales calls, and I think I got like 5 or 6 people to come on board. And one of our first clients was a guy called Ron. Ron, if you're watching this, I do love you. But it's a guy called Ron, and I won't say a second name or business, but he paid us, I think, like $1,500 or $2,000, and he wasn't buying anything. We said, look, we're going to launch this like in like 6 weeks. We're going to start working on the videos as soon as people come on board. And he was like, okay. And like later on, I said to him, I was like, how on earth did you trust us? And he said, Charlie, it was just your unbelievable level of conviction. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I listened back to the call. And on the call, I said to him, look, I know I don't have a product. I know I don't have a proof of like track record. I know I don't have results, but I have a will that you cannot fight. Like I said, Ron, if you trust me with your money and you give me your confidence, I will go to hell and back to get you results. And I promise you that, and I swear it on my life. And like, if you say that and you mean it, and it's the truth, people can't argue. It's like when I build my products for Imperium, I spent 600 hours on one module. So when I say to clients, I will not fucking sleep. Like when I'm making modules and stuff, one of the problems I have is perfectionism. Like if I'm making a module, it has to be perfect, down to the point where if I miss a comma, if I use a semicolon instead of a colon, I have to go back and redo the whole thing. And I've had to remake videos before because of one little missing detail. And so like, I know when I'm talking to people about my product that I can convince them it's going to be great. And even if I haven't built it yet, I can tell them, look, I have enough confidence in myself to build it. So this is a really, really important lesson, because if you haven't got conviction, people aren't going to trust you. It's going to be very hard if you're talking on sales calls and you're quite meek and you're quite sort of like, I'm not sure. I had the same thing with the YouTube channel as well. When I started my YouTube channel, I was like, I would tell people about the channel and I'd be like, this is going to be one of the best YouTube channels you could ever possibly see for your agency. And I got a load of people to subscribe because of that. You know, I was just telling people about it in the space when I had like no videos. So it's kind of like over enough time of doing that in the same industry, you start to build a track record of trust, where if you build something or you say you're building something, people just naturally think, fucking hell, that's going to be brilliant, because you build their trust over time. I wanted to share this with you. Now, one other caveat is that if you want to speed up the process of acquiring clients, there's a link in the description. It's basically a video of me explaining all of like the strategies we use to help you acquire clients. You can click on it. I don't mind if you click on it or not. Obviously, it's there to try and sell you something to get you to book on a call. So you can do that if you want to book a call. I don't really mind. Yeah, it's up to you. We've got like pretty much full up calendar-wise, which is cool, but you can check it out. Anyways, long story short, I'm not here to try and just, you know, push something down your throat. If you like the video, you can like the video. If you have anything to add, you can comment it. And if you want to add any like thing in the comments, just do that. You can also subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it if you did. But this is something that I learned, and something that I think, you know, should inherently add value to your life and your business, because ultimately if you haven't got that confidence in yourself and you think, oh well, you know, I'm kind of lazy, and I think even if I sign someone, like I'd probably, like, you need to understand, like if someone pays you up front, like you need to feel terrified. Because as soon as you feel the gratification for signing a client should only come after you've delivered them results consistently. Because it's like, if you get the grand or the $2,000 or whatever, and you think, yes, I made money, I signed the client. It's like, no, it's not really how it works, because that money can be easily disputed and clawed back if you're not very good at what you do. Anyway, if you feel like you're a lazy person, you don't trust yourself to actually, you know, pull your finger out and just make it work and work as hard as you can, then you need to reassess who you are as a person, because nothing's going to help you if that's what you like. So anyways, that's everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.